we're at a constant war, and it's sort of like I said, from cyber stick-ups, if you will, for which are those ransom attacks, to what China and Russia are doing.
Hey, Chuck, that's right. Really what is impacting our society across the board right now are cyber attacks, ransomware attacks on schools and hospitals. In fact, Microsoft says the average amount that a cyber criminal is stealing from an institution that's willing to pay is about $300,000. And Microsoft is just one of many tech giants that is tackling this issue in concert with the U.S. government. They're taking on this whole new role, an accelerated role, as sort of a cyber defender, a cyber cop, if you will. And I had the chance to sit down with the Microsoft president, Brad Smith, and ask him a few questions for this episode. Listen to this.
Brad Smith is the president of Microsoft. He says the company intercepted and thwarted a record-breaking 30 billion email threats last year.
Do you believe that we're at war on the internet right now?
I think most of the time people would say this is not an act of war, but it also doesn't feel like a time of peace, especially when we see not only this technology, these attacks used for, say, something like espionage, but sometimes to damage people's computers, to disrupt the operations of, say, a hospital or a school, to put at risk the electrical grid. These are dangerous steps, and we should not treat them as certainly peacetime as normal.
You know, Joe, cybersecurity and the threats from it feels overwhelming at times. I talked about the cyber stick-ups and all of this. Can we rely on government to protect us from cybercrime?
Right now, we're not. In fact, the tech companies that I've been speaking to and covering over the last several years, the better part of a decade now, are all working with the federal government to provide support, to provide not just alerts, but also fetter out the threats that are already in the system, be it in our infrastructure, in the electrical grid. One thing that was really interesting that we get into in this episode with Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft, is the targeting of our water systems and what that really means for people, because we've seen these natural disasters happen, and going without water is often just as difficult, if not more difficult, than going without electricity. So it's a really interesting conversation. But the main point that I think really jumped out to me in doing this reporting is that it is not just about cybersecurity overall. It's about international relationships and where the American best interest really lies in these multinational companies. Chuck.
Wow.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.